Welcome to my latest podcast series, OneLife. My name's Terence Wallace, and I'm the writer and publisher of a weekly essay entitled Indelible Adventures, and I'm your host. This podcast series sets out to prompt and challenge your thinking about life and what it means to really live your life. I'll share with you my insights and personal experiences with the sole objective of getting you to reflect and think about your approach to living your best life. So let's get started. Thanks for joining me today. This week's special guest is Allyson Morris. Allyson is an accomplished jazz singer with albums on iTunes and Spotify and has performed at a number of internationally renowned festivals and concerts. But as always, Allyson is probably much better at introducing herself than me. So over to you, Allyson.
Thank you so much, Terence. My name is Allyson Morris. I am a Toronto-based jazz singer and songwriter, and I made a very big life decision in 2019, in the fall of 2019. Basically what I did was I've been a data analyst for the NICU in 2 different hospitals in Toronto for 28 years. I did that job, loved it. I had a great career, but the last year I was working, I just decided I needed to make a shift in my life because I wasn't truly fulfilled and happy. And I basically finished my work and I started writing music, and I started on it my second album, an EP, a jazz EP, and then COVID hit. So it's been interesting, but I still am so happy that I actually made that big life decision to change careers.
Thanks, Allyson. I know that our listeners are going to definitely enjoy your story today, and thank you. That's a great start. So our first question is, what's the most important thing you've learned about living your best life?
What is the most important thing that I've learned about living my best life? Well, I'm a huge dreamer. I have big dreams. But I actually have learned to focus and be simplistic and one task at a time. Be very goal-oriented, whether it be in collaborating in songwriting or the development of a CD or storyboarding a video or just learning new material for a band that you're involved in. Each of these require networking with the right people. You have to get all the right information to make clear decisions about how you're going to approach each project, and just try to stay on track and be very disciplined in when you're creating. You have to set aside time each day and be disciplined about, especially in songwriting. I try to sit down at the same time daily to work through material and just have an organized time slot.
Thanks, Allyson. I think there was a few things that I just wanted to pick up on because there was some really great content in there. I think dreaming big is really important from a life lessons perspective. I think you've also touched on focus and simplicity, one task at a time, being goal-oriented and setting some micro goals and things in advance so that you know when you've achieved those and getting that satisfaction of being able to say that you've finished and achieved them. I think another thing I heard there was around collaboration and the power that it brings to you, as well as the discipline to follow the day-to-day tasks that you need to do to be successful. Awesome. That's really great. So my second question, Allyson, is what's the one piece of advice you learned that you wished you knew earlier in life?
What I know now that I wish I would have known when I was younger would be that I can do anything in life, to have the confidence to pursue my dreams and pursue my passions. I remember my mother, my mom and dad actually bought me a piano. I used to hound them for a piano, and they finally did buy me a piano, and I had it in my bedroom, and I would sit for hours and play and sing and write songs. And then my mother asked me, I think I was around 10, she asked me, Allyson, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I want to be a singer-songwriter. And she said, oh, Allyson, you have to get a real job. Oh, it crushed me. I think at that moment, I actually realized that this is what I wanted to do in life. And I did have to get a real job, quote unquote. This kind of pushed me because I then started productions in local theaters. And then when I moved to Toronto, I was involved in different bands. And I did this beautiful production for 13 years while I was working full-time down at the Premier Dance Theatre. I was involved in the show as a singer, and then I was involved also as a producer. And it was a charity event, so we did it every year for 13 years. And it was a 5-day run of the show, and it was just an incredible experience for me. From that long run theater experience, I developed a band called Slice of Life, and it was a corporate band with doctors because I was in the health industry, and we played corporate events all over the city, and that was just so much fun as well. And at one point, I just wanted to do my own solo career, so I went into the studio. I researched studios, and I went into Kensington Sound Studio to do a demo. And from that demo, it was a 5-song demo, and I went and shopped that demo all over Toronto to get a house gig. And I did get a house gig at a beautiful little jazz club, and I had Wednesday nights. And what I would do is I would bring in different players, so I would network with all the different musicians in the city, and I would build my musicians network. And these guys were, top of the A-listers. So it was such a treat to actually play with them. So, you always strive to play with the best, and that just helps you bring up your game. So that was incredible. And then after that, I decided to work on my own CD in 2013. Actually, it was about 2011. It took 2 years to develop the CD. And again, I went to Kensington Sound, and Vazy Tayeb was the producer. And we worked on some beautiful songs that I love to sing, jazz standards. And then we wrote a few songs. I wrote one with Bill King and Vazy. And we had our CD release party at the Jazz Bistro, and also I did a soft opening CD release at the Paint Box Bistro. And I had hired a publicist, so my album went out to all the radio stations, and it also went on streaming radio. So it got out there. I had people from all over the world actually through social media and through the publicist contact me and ask me when I would be playing their city. So that was really cool. And then I just kind of got myself back into work. And then 5 years later, I met up with my current producer, Asher Ettinger. I met him at a summer party in 2019, and we started working on the chill jazz album called Chill Me Some Jazz. And that was just released. I released that as singles just last September 2020. And then I ran into, I did some really cool interpretations. We did a lot of overlaying scat singing, and it was a very ambient kind of dreamscape album. And I did a video for one of the songs, Peel Me a Grape. We did a really cool rearrangement of that song. And I went down and drove my friend's Delta 88. It was a 1966 car, a convertible, and it was grape colored. And we drove through the city of Toronto, and then we ended up on the parkade overlooking the city. We had all the crew park on the top floor, the rooftop of the parkade, and we shot part of the video overlooking the city. It was just an incredible experience. I had never done a video before, so it was a real treat. We had my friend Peter Clifford directed the video, and he is involved in the film industry in Toronto, and we had some incredible cinematographers and cameramen. I mean, I had a dance coach because I was acting in this video. So basically, to sum up the question, what do I know now that I wished I would have known when I was younger, is that you can do anything. If you put your mind to it and you have the passion and you have the drive to succeed in your dreams, then anything is possible.
Thank you so much, Allyson. That was a great story, and really appreciate you spending the time to flesh out your journey. I totally agree. I think pursuing your passions is probably the number one thing that I wish I'd also known. And now that I do, I'm a big believer, just like you, of pursuing those. Thank you. So our third and final question is, what action would you ask our listeners to take after listening to today's podcast?
What action to practice after listening to this podcast? Well, I would say just be confident about your decisions in your life, and be goal-oriented, strategize about how to get it done, connect with the right people, have your goals always on check, be determined, be fearless. Anything can happen, but you just have to do it. Also, educate yourself in the business, like in my case, the business of music. And I had to figure out how to navigate through like factor grants or Ontario Art Council grants, and publicity and touring. Making the CD was the fun part, but then you have a product in your hand. Now you have to figure out how to disseminate this product. But always keep in mind that do art because you love to do art. It may not be a huge moneymaker, but do it because it makes you happy and more content in your life. And go and live your best life.
Thank you so much, Allyson. Let me just review some of the things that you identified in the summary. So here's what I heard. Being confident about your decisions. I think that's excellent. I think we all need to have self-belief as part of our approach to following our passions. Setting your goals, being determined and fearless. And I think that really is very important to make sure that you have that stick-to-itiveness and follow-through. Next, and I think most importantly for me, is really that you have to take action and just do it. No longer can you just dream about it, think about it, hope for it, but to actually take action and do it and follow your passion. Another excellent point you made was about educating yourself in the business and every aspect of it. Often with our passions, we tend to love them, but we may not get into the depth that we need to really understand them and drive it forward. And so, educating yourself in the business was an excellent point. And I think the statement that you ended with was really, really important. Do art because you love to do art, right? Because it makes you happy and contented, not because you feel obligated or feel stressed or chasing money necessarily, but do it for the sake of the love that you have for that particular piece of art. That's fantastic advice. Thank you so much, Allyson. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy schedule to be a part of our show today. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Terrence, for having me on your podcast. I hope this inspires a few people, and it was such a pleasure. Thanks again.
If you'd like to learn more about Indelible Adventures and the products and services we provide, please take a moment to visit the website at www.indelibleadventures.com. Indelible Adventures is one word. Thanks for listening, and look forward to hosting you again very soon.